running. I don't bother with it. It won't run. So you go figure that out. To live and die in LA. All right. Come on. I'll wait till 1 minute. See if I can get some action here. All right, let me get all turned up here. All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. I saw in the news last night that Drake is suing his record company because of the thing that he has going on with Kendrick Lamar, the artistic beef, as we can call it. He said he's not suing the record label because of the song itself or about the other artists. It's the fact that the song contains some information that wasn't true. Well, regardless of why he's suing or if he has a legitimate case, he's kind of hurt himself because he is pretty much suing the other side of himself. Meaning, when you go into a deal with a record company, they're doing the promoting and putting your music out there and trying to make you as big as possible. But if you're going to turn around and sue them, it's the same thing as taking a knife and chopping off a couple fingers. Why would you go to bat with your own teammate? And that's essentially what's happening here. And it's going to affect his career moving forward. Because if you're going to sue this company and you move on somewhere else, what's the likelihood that somebody else wants to deal with you? In other words, the record company is in a better position than the artist because they have the ability to promote or not promote or get your information out there the way that you want it. And if you're going to antagonize them, then they're not going to do that. So in other words, what Drake is doing is antagonizing the master. He is outshining the master by calling him out. And that never works out. And because he called out the master, it kind of reminds me of what Ed Reed did. Ed Reed, he was the very brief coach of Bethune-Cookman. He went there and got involved in the program, and he started working before his contract was finalized, and he started finding things that he didn't like, and he complained about it publicly. Now, this is something that he probably should have done. All right, let me see. This is probably something he should have done privately. But no. He went to social media with that and talking to people and expressing himself. Not that he was wrong in what he was saying, it's just that how he went about doing it. And essentially what he was doing, he was outshining his master. Good morning, Jihad. I thought you cut me loose, man. I didn't apologize for the Steelers getting whipped, but I did make amends. I gave my viewpoint and I stood on it. And I congratulate you guys, but like I say, we'll see you again. But just so happened, I had to come on today and talk briefly about Ed Reed. I'm talking about what took place with him with Bethune-Cookman and how he was voicing his concerns publicly instead of behind the scenes with the administrators. And basically what he was doing was outshining the master, kind of like what Drake is doing with this music industry. He's suing his own record label. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, man. And it put me into the mind of Ed Reed. But Ed Reed, he's back in the news again because, as you might imagine, once he went that route with Bethune-Cookman, it was going to be hard for him to get an HBCU job as a head coach. And that's probably the same issue that Drake is going to have, because no record company is going to want to fool with him if he's turning around suing the people that he's working with now. Now, as far as Reed goes, he has now landed a job, but it's not in college. He has landed a position at Chamblee High School in Atlanta, and he's going to be not the defensive coordinator, he's going to be the offensive coordinator. Don't make sense? It makes solid sense, because what do defenders do? They study offenses. So if anybody knows offenses and how to slow them down, it's Ed Reed. So what he would do is come up with a plan like what he would do if he was the defensive coordinator, and then plan against that. So that would be a good idea for Reed to be an offensive coordinator, and I don't have a problem with that. Ed Reed was good, but I think he would do it a different way if he had a chance to talk to Bethune-Cookman's administrators. I think he would do it again. I just heard the defensive coach from Detroit Lions supposed to be the Jets head coach. Are you talking about Aaron Glenn? Well, I haven't heard that yet, but Aaron Glenn played for the Jets, so that would make sense. He's going to have to wait till the season's over before he can take over. And they talking about that guy Ben Johnson is going to move on too, but I don't think Johnson really wants to move on. I think he's better at being a number two. But Reed, he took the job as an offensive coordinator at Chamblee High School because he hadn't found a job anywhere else that we knew of. But he did say he had other job opportunities. But before I get to that, how he came to be at Chamblee in Atlanta is because that's where his son goes to school. And get this, Jamal Lewis is the catalyst for getting him to become a coach, because Jamal Lewis' son also plays for Chamblee High School. So what you're seeing there is what you're seeing down here in Florida. You can have all these former players getting together and they bringing in big names. And that's important because kids see those big names and they gravitate toward that. Here in Florida, they have pretty much an open door policy where you can transfer where you want to go. As long as that school has space, they have to accept you as a student. And it's so bad down here that an athlete can play 3 or 4 different sports in 3 or 4 different schools all in the same year. Example, let's just say Chamblee High was a powerhouse in football and they were in Florida. You can play football there. You can go over to Dunwoody to play basketball. Then you can go over to Clayton County and play baseball or run track. And then you can come back to Fulton County and graduate, all in the same year. That's the way they're doing it in Florida. I just used Georgia as an example because we're talking about Ed Reed coaching up in Georgia. And with that, I have the opportunity for athletes to get NIL while they're still in high school. So if you got big names coaching the program and you have people behind you that are getting your athletes NIL deals in school, then you're going to have athletes gravitating toward you, which creates a problem here for the public schools here in Florida. Nobody has said this but me. But if you look at it, public schools don't have the funding or the business connections to go out and get athletes NIL deals. Now here's the key. The schools aren't supposed to help the athletes get their deals. The athletes are supposed to get their own deals because they can't even show their school colors or anything while they're advertising for these deals. So who's in position to do that? Private schools. So once private schools realize that we have the power to pretty much get rid of the public school athlete because we can take them all by getting them all NIL deals. And of course, If you got a kid that's his parents, they're just barely making it, and here you are, a kid that can get us an extra 40, 50, or whatever thousand a year, then guess what you think mom and dad's going to do? It's already been, I put it this way, no reports, but I know of situations where kids get offered all the time under the table a couple $100, a couple thousand for their kid to switch over and come play for their school. It happens all the time. It's the kind of thing that nobody reports, but it happens. Well, technically, you're not supposed to recruit, but it's an impossibility. Another example of that, and I'm not saying that Bridgewater did anything underhanded, but his name itself was going to attract a whole lot of people. Bridgewater retired last year. He came out and he took his alma mater, Miami Northwestern, and when he got there and the word came that he was going to be the coach, they got transfers from all over the place, and they got so many that he had to turn them away. Now, mind you, even without the turnovers, Miami Northwestern is a state power. There's all kind of talent that comes through there. They didn't need all of that. But once his name came in there, I mean, it's pretty much an unbeatable, unstoppable force. And as long as he stays there, it's going to be that way. So you can just imagine a program with Jamal Lewis and Ed Reed on the same staff, and you know their son's going to have some athletic ability. It's going to be a situation where they're going to be hard to beat. But that is the situation that you have down here in high school. But Ed Reed, being a offensive coordinator, it's an excellent position. But he had other position offers, like I said. Right before he took this offer, he was offered by Michael Vick up at, no, not Michael Vick, but Deshaun Jackson up at Delaware State. He had a chance to go there. So Reed, at some point, is going to surface in college football. And because there's a rush now to hire big-name athletes as head coaches, like a Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, you got Eddie George, of course, you had Dion, and all these names are coming out to coach, and they're going to attract people to their programs because of those big names. So Ed Reed, I think, in the future will get another chance to be a head coach. All right. Gian said Baltimore Raiders play the Bills this Sunday. The Baltimore Raiders? Who do you think going to win that game? Honest opinion? In all honesty, I think Baltimore, because they beat Buffalo the first time, I think if they're able to run the football, they're going to be a team that's hard to beat. But like I've been saying all along, somebody's going to put a stop to that run between the tackles, and then it's going to come down to can Jackson beat you with his arm. And I don't think that Jackson, if it comes solely to throwing the football to beat an opponent, he's not there yet. And Buffalo is playing better football. And like I said, those coordinators, they don't just prepare for the team that they're playing, they're also looking down the road. And if you're Sean McDermott at Buffalo, you're looking at, hey man, this is what Baltimore did to us the first time. We got to come up with something else. So if the Ravens fans looking at what happened the first time they played and think it's going to go that way this time, think again. They're going to find a way to keep Henry from popping that long run. And if you can do that and keep Baltimore in the bottle, if you will, then it makes for a more interesting game. But if Henry gets loose and he runs wild like he did against Pittsburgh the other day, then Baltimore is going to be hard to beat, because now you got to focus on trying to stop Henry, and then you're going to forget about Jackson, and then they're going to be able to do whatever they want to do, and that's just the way it goes. But I thought you was being funny when you called them the Baltimore Raiders, because I always call the Ravens the regular season Ravens, so I thought you had your own name there. But I think you guys got a good shot. It should be a close game, barring any major turnovers. But as far as a big separation, I don't see that. All the pretenders are gone. Pittsburgh, even though that's my team, they didn't want to play any football the other day, and you can see it by the way they come out of the tunnel. So we'll see you again. But to this year, good riddance. But yeah, you got a good shot. But Michael Vick offered, not Michael Vick, but Deshaun Jackson offered Ed Reed to join his staff, and I think he mulled that over. But the opportunity to coach his son was a great draw for Reed, and you can't blame him there. And I think again, that is the real reason why Deion was doing what he was doing on the college level was for his sons. He said he would never coach in the NFL, but now we hear talks that he's with Baltimore, not Baltimore, but Dallas, and he could be talking to the Raiders as well. So keep your eyes tuned on that one, but I never thought he was going to stay very long in Boulder once his sons left anyway. But Ed Reed, I think he'll be a good coach. He's got the fire and desire for it, and the guys will follow him because of his playing career. And if you're in the Atlanta area, keep an eye on Chamberlain because, like I said, Georgia has more stricter transfer rules than what Florida has. But you can imagine if athletes know those Jamal Lewis and Reed are going to be on the same staff, they're going to start getting transfer requests come in, and they're going to get their paperwork done in on time. Florida, you don't have to do that. But that's two different states. Once you cross that line, it's a completely different world. And Georgia runs a better organization than Florida across the board. I mean, they're more consistent, and what they do makes sense. If something goes down in Florida and 2 or 3 coaches complain, next thing you know, they change the whole system. They're not happy no matter what they come up with, and once they figured out that they can get their way by crying about it, the association, they've lost their spine over the years, and they just figurehead organization at this point. But yeah, Reed, he should be a good coach at Chamberlain along with Jamal Lewis. They should make some noise. And I mentioned the fact that Drake, just like Ed Reed, had outshined his master at BCC. They got rid of him. It stunted his career, and it's going to be a while for him to get back into the HBCU coaching levels until they can. All right, stand by a second.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Can I have a minute?
Yeah, let me wrap this up real quick. But yeah, I just want to speak on Ed Reed. But in the meantime, wherever you guys are in the world, you have a great day. I got to go to work, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. So keep an eye on Ed Reed. Till next time, this has been Sports for Real. I'm out.